still missing this morning.
All right, we'll talk politics for just a moment. Donald Trump heads back to New York City, where he will report for jury duty tomorrow. It comes after a quick trip to the Iowa State Fair, where he arrived in dramatic fashion. That's the way Donald Trump arrives. Skipped out on the soapbox, though. Huge crowds scrambled to see the GOP frontrunner, who went through the fair trying fried foods, allowing kids to ride the chopper. Trump also spoke with media. A few reporters there, few is, being sarcastic. One of the major topics he addressed was Hillary Clinton's email server controversy. Take a listen to what he told CNN's Jeff Zeleny.
It's a criminal problem. I mean, it's going to be a very serious problem for her, Jeff. It's going to be about as serious as it gets. You look at General Petraeus, and he was destroyed over a much lesser event. So I think she's got a very big problem.
But his emails were marked classified, hers were not.
Well, I think some of hers were, and it seemed like they took a lot of markings off. I mean, somebody has got a big problem, and it looks like it's Hillary.
Any worry Republicans could overplay their hand on this email controversy?
Look, it is what it is. It was a terrible thing she did. It was actually a very foolish thing. There was no reason to do it, and she's got a big problem.
All right, so let's talk more about this. We've got political analyst Jason Johnson and CNN's Eric Bradner, who is on the ground there in Iowa. Eric, I want to start with, okay, we don't have Eric. We'll get to Eric in a moment. Let me start with you, though, on this 100-minute visit to Iowa. He's in and out.
You know, this is the kind of thing that Trump is going to do. He's going to be a huge story. He's going to jump in. He's going to parachute, literally helicopter in. People will pay attention to him. It's exciting. But here's what matters to me, and here's what matters to the Republican Party. Does he have a group on the ground? Does he have people who are actually working for these caucuses? Because you can be as high as you want to be in the polls in Iowa, but if you don't have people on the ground organizing for the Iowa caucuses, you'll still lose. So right now, this is all just a dog and pony show.
Let me ask you about the polls, because you mentioned it. How representative are the polls this early on of the masses? Because they're small polls.
Right. They really aren't very representative. I mean, first off, you're only polling that particular state, right? We don't have a lot of polls right now of Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, so we don't really know how he stands up against most of the other candidates. And even these primary polls, it's just comparing him with other Republicans. We don't know what a presidential campaign by Donald Trump really looks like yet.
So I understand that he actually has on his team his name escapes me, but the person
Senator Sessions?
No, not Senator Sessions on immigration, but the person who led Santorum's effort back in 2012. So it seems that he has someone who is organizing, but there was a piece in Politico that actually addressed if people were willing to sit through the caucusing process. It's easy to tell a person over the phone, yeah, I support Trump, but to go hours and hours. Let's talk about this $1 billion commitment, that he would spend $1 billion on the process to become elected on the campaign.
Right.
He said yes, but what was he going to say? Nah, cap it at $200 million.
Yeah, I mean, first off, remember, you've got the Koch brothers who say they're going to spend $900 million on different cases. So everyone's throwing out a bigger number, right? Oh, I'm going to pay Alex Rodriguez this. I'm going to spend this much on my campaign. So yes, he's going to spend a lot of money, but also it's a shot across the bow for the Republican Party, because if he said, I've got $1 billion to spend out of my own pocket, that means he'll spend it whether he's the candidate or he's a nominee for the Republican Party. So it's more of a warning to the GOP, leave me alone, let me keep running, because I have enough money in my pocket, I can do this on my own.
All righty. Eric Bradner, we understand, is with us now there in Iowa. So Eric, give us a sense of what the buzz is there this morning, the aftermath, so to speak.
Right, yeah, from the moment Donald Trump's helicopter flew overhead yesterday, the buzz was all about him. We're talking about people who are not normally interested in politics, who were sort of ignoring the other candidates' visits. They were running up to Trump. It was almost like a mosh pit at a concert, right? Just moving throughout the fair with hundreds and hundreds of people around him. I talked to a lot of people who were following him, and a lot of them made the same comment, and it was that, like him or hate him, at least he doesn't have to, rely on corporate interests, rely on lobbyist money, rely on the people who donate to candidates that don't have $10 billion at their disposal. So there was a ton of interest in Trump. It was really unlike anything I've ever seen.
What are you seeing as it relates to some of the Democrats? Because I understand that Bernie Sanders had a huge crowd yesterday.
He did. So Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, the two Democratic frontrunners, were both on hand yesterday. Hillary Clinton did a lower key visit. She sort of moved throughout the fair, greeting a lot of fans along the way. shaking hands. She signed one woman's book, that sort of thing. And there was certainly a crush around her. But Bernie Sanders drew a huge crowd when he did the Des Moines Register's soapbox. It's a 20-minute opportunity for a candidate to take the stage with, cheering and jeering Iowans around. And he drew, a crowd that was spilling across the street,
Wow.
hundreds and hundreds of people.
Wow. All right. Eric Bradner there for us in Iowa. Jason Johnson in studio for us. Thank you both. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.